I got a nice comment the other day. It says, Bill, I would love to see a lesson about your favorite modes or scales. You're such a good player. Thank you. Well, thank you for writing that. I've been working to get my technique back to where it used to be because I laid off playing for a few years. And I was quite rusty when I started back, and I'm still rusty, and I feel like I'm still very sloppy. So it's apropos to talk about technique and chops because that's something that I've been working on. So I'll talk about it. You might not like the answer because the answer is which modes and scales? All of them. You have to learn all of them. These are the vocabulary of the language of music, because scales and modes, arpeggios, all are part of melody and also part of harmony and also part of rhythm. And those three things, that's what music is. So you really need to get all of them under your fingers and be fluid with them and fluent with them. Because it's what you're doing is you're building muscle memory. And the more you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you're about to lose your mind, it becomes second nature. You need to be focused on what you're doing, not thinking about the mechanics of it. And the only way to do that is to build that muscle memory and to have all these things as part of the vocabulary of this language you're learning, which is music. What I'm talking about is old school deciding on an instrument and learning it, whether it's piano, keyboard, guitar, a horn. It's about developing the skills so you could just play it. So if you go pass by a public piano in a train station, you can sit down and amuse yourself and play that thing. Or if you see a guitar at a friend's house and guitars, you think you can pick that up and you can play it. No computers needed, no AI needs to get involved. This is old school, fingers, instrument. And it takes work. It's not hard, but it takes work. And what it takes is two things, motivation and discipline. And I've lacked both in my career and in my life. I mean, that my motivation was I wanted to play like Oscar Peterson. I never got there. But to see him do that kind of stuff, I wanted to be able to do that. I can't. Why? I was blown away when I saw Gonzalo Rubalcaba at the Catalina Bar and Grill in L.A. And I went up to him after the set, and I said, I've been playing as long as you have, but I can't play anywhere near as well. And he said, why is that? He was just laughing. And I said, well, yeah, I haven't put in the work.
Was that ever hard for you, or when the first time you tried that, could you do it?
No, I couldn't do it the first time I tried it.
Okay.
Discipline. It takes a lot of repetition. It's not hard, but it's like, think of your fingers as like any muscle that you're working. If you go to the gym, it takes a lot of repetitions. And muscle memory is a real thing. And that's why I'm able to get back to where I was a little bit easier than if I was just starting from scratch, because the muscle memory is still there. I've still got muscle memory for some Bach inventions that I learned when I was in college. So it's a lot of repetition. But if you're passionate about learning your instrument, then it's not going to seem like work. It is work. It can be tedious. It can be a drag. Sometimes you don't feel like practicing. But it feels good when you see some improvement. You're not going to get there without putting in all those repetitions and all those hours. And I do mean hours. You know, it takes a lot. But if you enjoy it, if you think of music as a journey without a destination, especially these days, there's no destination. Okay, there's it's unlikely to be any money or any fame. You have to do this because it's your passion, and you love it, and the learning becomes its own reward. All right, you got to get the fingering down so that it just becomes second nature, and it's not that hard because if you get it for the major scales, your thumb on the 4 and the octave is where you pivot on your thumb. And once you get that down, it's the same for all the other white keys. Getting very sloppy here. But you get the idea. And for the left hand, it's you're pivoting on different notes because your thumb's on the other side. And you need to practice them together. The black keys, generally, in the right hand, you're going to start with your index finger. And then it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. Let's talk about modes. The easiest way to learn modes is just to concentrate on the white keys. They're all there. And if you go from C to C, that's not only a C major scale, but it's the Ionian mode. And using the same notes of just the white notes of the C major scale, if you shift the tonality up to D, that's the Dorian mode. And it's a minor mode with a major 6 and a flat 5.
In D minor, which I always find is really the saddest of all keys, really. I don't know why, but it makes people weep instantly to play.
E, you get Phrygian mode, which can be very dramatic with that minor second. Very cool mode. The Lydian mode, Danny Elfman's favorite mode, is the same as a major scale, except it has a sharp 4. This is the Jetsons theme song. Meet George Jetson, his boy Elroy, right? Mixolydian. And that's a major scale, except the 7th is flat. A lot of these modes have flat 7ths, and you got to have the flat 7th, because without a flat 7th, there's no rock and roll. That's your 7th there. Without the flat 7th, there's no funk. You can't play Slipping Into Darkness without the flat 7. So the next mode here is Aeolian, another minor mode. What differs between the Dorian mode and the Aeolian is this has a flat 6 rather than a major 6. But it that has the flat 7th. And this one is goofy because it's the only mode that has a flat 5. So there it is. So you need those modes, you need to be able to understand them so that if you come across a tune that's E flat Dorian, then you know that after time you'll get it. You'll be able to transpose all the modes. You won't, but learning them just using the white keys is the way to do it. Other scales you need to know are the pentatonics. And the pentatonics can be extrapolated into blues scales. Right? They can be major, they can be minor. Pentatonics are huge. You gotta have those. Then the chromatic scale. Gotta have that. The diminished scale is fun. The diminished scale is the only one of these that has 8 notes. All the others have 7. And a friend of mine used to have a British music teacher who would get exasperated when he would forget how to do a diminished scale, and he'd say, "It's so simple. It's whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step." And he's right. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So wherever you start, just whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Okay. Whole tone scales are interesting. There's only 2 of them. So this is all vocabulary of music. These are words, and you can express yourself the more you get these. And don't ignore your left hand, because you should. One thing that's fun is you can trade 4s with between your left hand and your right. Whatever, you get the idea. Arpeggios are also part of the vocabulary, and that's muscle memory, those leaps. The inversions of the chords. Here, watch, we can do Inagata Dorita. All right, or we cannot do Inagata Dorita. Here's a pentatonic exercise that's fun. Okay, there's the shapes. Right, and checks I can't cash. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. So that's why you work on this stuff. But the key to it is just to work slow, work with a metronome. And then gradually increase the tempo. Okay? And that's enough of that. In the end, it's just that old joke where you go, "Hey, lady, can you tell me how to get to Carnegie Hall?" Practice, practice, practice. So Go practice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I apologize for all the sloppiness in the examples that I give, because I'm still working on it. So we all need to practice. I need to practice. I got a long ways to go. But what are you going to do? You work on it. Okay, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you the next time. Arrivederci.